Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the hottest wrestling podcast out there in the sports entertainment industry. And I'm just kidding. It does its job. I'm just, here, just your average wrestling fan who just love to fill you guys in on some awesome, awesome information and just, talk about shows, talk about superstars, talk about the past like WCW to ECW. Obviously, I just want to have a good time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast hosted by the GSMC Sports Network. First and foremost, want to give a shout out to obviously everything that's going down in Los Angeles with the wildfires. Obviously, my thoughts, prayers for the first responders and everybody affected. Just have faith. We will rebuild. Obviously, hold your loved ones close. If you're in that evacuation area, make sure you seek shelter immediately. Do not chance it. Your lives are not worth it. Your family's lives are definitely not worth it. Seek a shelter. Obviously a little bit of more of a somber mood, and it's affected everywhere in California. Like it's nuts. Like I was on my way home and traffic lights were out. Traffic lights were out the other day. I went out to the store around like 9:30, and everywhere your local grocery store was closed. Your local Dollar Tree, your local Walmart, Target, you name it, everywhere was black. Street lights are down. Like I said, stop lights are down, which is terrible. And it seems like, and I'm not trying to say like I'm the best driver out there, but I feel like when people, without traffic lights and because it was black, it wasn't even flashing the red light to be like, oh, this is, it's a stop sign now. People, some people run it, some people do take it as a stop, but all in all, it just resorts into, devastation. Obviously, I saw a couple of car crashes as well on the way here. Police cars, fire trucks, everybody out there trying to make this, make it a little bit normal here around Southern California. But, it's super hard. It's crazy. I, for one, am, obviously, I don't live in the Los Angeles area, but I do live like around Southern California. So, I do have family, friends, and, coworkers who have families that have been affected by all the wildfires and stuff like that. So, obviously, this podcast is all about, of course, having fun, talking about professional wrestling. So, we'll try to do it, although, just know, just save your prayers. Do your prayers, make sure you pray for LA. Well, like I said, we have a great show for you today on tap. We have our WWE Smackdown preview. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor and TNA, give you guys the results of what happened on Thursday. We're also going to talk about WWE's commentary team shakeup. Recently you saw Corey Graves on NXT New Year's Evil, and being brutally honest, it didn't even, you barely heard him. I feel like, throughout the time, he probably spoke at maybe like 4 or 5 times during the whole during the whole event. So I'm not sure if he's going to be too happy there. It's been reported that WWE officials are super happy. They're super impressed with the announced team of Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, obviously on Monday Night Raw when they were on the USA Network. Now with Netflix, Pat McAfee is back, of course, with Michael Cole, his partner in crime. So, where does that leave Corey Graves? Most likely he goes back to NXT. And, I've read reports and saying that, it's a demotion and all that. But I don't really think it's a demotion. We'll get into that, obviously, when our third segment hits. Fourth segment, John Cena declared on the Monday Night Raw on Netflix that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. We're going to talk about that. In our fifth and final segment, Jeff Hardy, former WWE superstar, claims that if it wasn't for all the substance abuse, if it wasn't for, drugs and alcohol, his career would have been better than John Cena's. He said he could have been better than John Cena. Do we agree with it? I'm not too sure. For me, because nobody really could, match up with the intensity of John Cena, and Jeff Hardy was more of a high flyer, more of a different kind of caliber, especially when it comes to the World Heavyweights division back then during the Ruthless Aggression. Obviously, you had Batista, you had JBL, you had Kurt Angle, you had Eddie Guerrero, you also had, you had an aging, but he was still there, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Edge. Jeff Hardy being, more than a couple of time, world time champion, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't have made the company that more like prominent, I guess you can say, in terms of entertainment. But like I said, I could be wrong. It never happened. So all I could really say is we're going to dive into it once when we get there. But before we do any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat, whether if you get a burning take or a hot or a hot comment talking about professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We value all opinions and definitely want to make sure you guys feel like your voice is heard. So don't be shy and drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, why not use that super chat? Hit up that $. Basically guarantees anything you guys put inside that box is going to be featured on the show. It's also going to be talked about, maybe even debated about if it's that juicy. And make sure you guys hit it up. Obviously, it's a great way to support our channel here at the GSMC Sports Network. All these super chats helps us keep the lights on all these amazing podcasts with all these amazing podcasters who have one goal in mind, to make sure you guys consume the content that you guys love on a day-to-day basis. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this party started. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat not your thing, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Hit up the tips and donations link. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable there's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be a little bit of criticism. It's all good. It's already water under the bridge. It's all gravy. Just want to make sure you guys feel like you guys are a part of this awesome podcast. All right, so without further ado, let's get this party started. As soon as I could get there, we go. All right, so we're going to talk about some WWE Smackdown. I was doing research for Smackdown, and I found I think there's only one announced match on the match card, and it's the WWE United States Championship match. Shinsuke Nakamura defending his title against the LA Knight. This is pretty huge. I've been reading reports stating that if the LA Knight does not get his championship back, what's gonna make of his character? And honestly, I honestly don't know. I could imagine maybe perhaps a heel turn. Maybe perhaps he, bounces over to Monday Night Raw. Who knows? He definitely has the charisma. He definitely has that, main event attitude. Maybe perhaps he could be trying to fight for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which is, it's a possibility. It is a possibility. And, I do like the LA Knight, but right now his character, he seems a little stale. The crowds, they love him, though. They absolutely love him. He comes out, and I'm not even too sure if he's an actual, babyface, because he does do some, heelish things when he talks about his opponents. He does, he gives respects, of course, when they're due, but at the same time, he still can be, antagonistic. He still could be, a thorn in the side of, a lot of his competitors. So, it wouldn't surprise me to see if the LA Knight goes to being a heel. Maybe after his match with Shinsuke Nakamura, he decides to attack him, and then everybody's like, okay, what's going down? What's happening? Or maybe perhaps this match gets interrupted. I really, honestly hope to God it does not. I don't want to see a pissed off Solo Sikoa because he lost that tribal combat match against Roman Reigns. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Jacob Fatu, coming in the mix, and then maybe Solo Sikoa finds a way to kind of, immerse himself inside the WWE United States Championship division. So, we're gonna find out tonight. But my best bet, especially with WWE kind of headed into more of an international kind of aspect, I see Shinsuke Nakamura retain. And, I know, WWE Smackdown has already aired on the East Coast, but I, have not checked a single shred of social media. No TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram or anything like that, so I'm going in blind and definitely love it. Definitely have a recorder. Can't wait to watch it. And, But we also have, what's also going to happen on SmackDown, we have the tag team division that's going to be on, it's going to be fuego. It's going to be great. It's going to be great to watch. DIY, they've kind of assumed the role of the heels. And at first, I did not want to see it, but somebody kind of had to do it. The tag team division in terms of the heel, it was kind of getting a little predictable. It was always the same guys: Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. Pretty deadly. Doing some pretty silly things. Legado Del Fantasma. Something has had definitely to change. So tonight, I hope we get a good picture of what's going to happen with the WWE Tag Team titles, especially heading toward the Royal Rumble. I would absolutely love to see them being defended. And there's also some, tag teams that could definitely make their way onto SmackDown from probably like NXT. I've constantly, reiterated about it on this podcast, like the No Quarter Catch Crew, Miles Bourne, Tavion Heights coming in. Also, Axiom and Nathan Frazier would be amazing on SmackDown. And, with SmackDown being a 3-hour show now, you have a lot of time to kind of play around with different storylines and different talents, trying to see how the crowd reacts to new faces being inside the ring or even cutting promos backstage. Like last week on WWE Smackdown, you saw Pretty Deadly and Legado del Fantasma getting more time than they've had like within the past couple of months. So definitely, I think that's super awesome. I definitely think that's going to be the first step in the right direction. Also, we have the Street Profits. What's going to happen with the Street Profits? I feel like them only being having a one reign tag team championship on the main roster. I don't think it's good enough. I love Dawkins. I love Montez. These guys are special, especially Montez, and I wouldn't, would never ever even think about breaking them up. But Montez Ford, man, this guy has main event written all over him. This guy could definitely be a future WWE champion. I would, matter of fact, I would, definitely prefer it. I definitely love the way that they hold themselves up inside the ring. Pretty Deadly could also be. They could be a sneaky good tag team as well. They could definitely be those like that Edge and Christian kind of feel where, they're going to cheat to win, but, it is what it is. But that's kind of why I feel like DIY kind of got that heel turn, because I feel like people were like, okay, so on the heels we have Pretty Deadly, Legado del Fantasma, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. I think it's pretty soon you're going to see a split between Theory and Grayson Waller. Does that start today? Not too sure. Are we going to find out who attacked Jade Cargill? Rumors are flying that it could be Bianca because she's jealous because she's not the EST around Jade Cargill. Cargill is better than Bianca Belair, yada, yada, yada. It could be, Naomi. Naomi jealous, perhaps feeling that she could be a WWE Women's World Tag Team Champion. Obviously, she was with Sasha Banks before they left the company, obviously vacating those titles. So she technically never lost it. And Naomi needs a new direction. She absolutely needs a character change. This would be absolutely brutal, and I would be totally for it. Tiffany Stratton, she comes to WWE Smackdown, the new WWE Women's Champion, of course, successfully cashing in last week on Nia Jax. We're gonna get a little bit of a lashback and find out how Nia Jax feels about it. And, who's going to challenge Tiffany Stratton? Obviously, Nia Jax, she does have a rematch clause. So we will probably be seeing those two go at it at the Royal Rumble, where Tiffany Stratton could definitely beat her and cement her legacy as a new champion. And, just kind of get this Tiffany Stratton train rolling. So, definitely can't wait to see that. What's going to happen with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa? Roman Reigns, winning the Ula Fallah. Solo Sikoa at this point as the leader of the new young bloodline. He looks a little weak. He's getting back. Back into his losing ways. He did cleanly pin Roman Reigns at Bad Blood, but it was. I feel like he's kind of hit into that slump again, where he just keeps losing. He just keeps losing, and I don't honestly see it getting better unless we have ourselves a different storyline. What's going to happen with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens? They're building up momentum for their ladder match for the WWE Undisputed Championship and that Winged Eagle belt at the Royal Rumble February 1st. So, we could definitely be getting a little bit of information there. Make sure you guys check out WWE Smackdown tonight. live on the USA Network. So, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to our second segment. We got Ring of Honor. We got TNA Impact results to talk about. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.